You're now practicing appreciation and love. You are breathing properly. You're eating properly. You're now honoring your temple. You're now moving your body and doing certain exercises and all those things. Now, these are physical things and also energetic things. You now begin to have your heart coherence corrected. Now you connected with your heart. Your heart is open. You accept yourself. It can take a long time to get to that point. It can take you a short time, depending on where you are and also your frequency and how determined you are to experience difference in this reality. How determined you are to feel more love and peace in your life, how determined you are to understand this reality and live and step out of the matrix. You see how Neo in the movie they speak about violence, is fighting and all those things, right? But in reality, it doesn't happen like that. Your awakening is not linked to you fighting physical beings. Your awakening is linked to you fighting yourself. Your shortcomings, your weakness is not really fighting, but addressing them and correcting them, right? Knowing and understanding that you are divine consciousness having a human experience, okay? The human experience has dropped your frequency down. Your human experience has dropped your frequency down. You need to raise your frequency up, right? For you to understand that you came here for the evolution of your soul, evolution of you. Your soul is using you, the avatar, right, to experience the game. But your soul is always there. Your higher self is always there to help and guide you. Right? So now, when you have an awakening, it's about you, the avatar, the physical body, the I identity, right? Understanding that you have a higher connection that you have for a certain purpose, not just to live, uh, go to school, get a job, get children, get married, and then work most of your life, 40 years, whatever it is, and then you just now die. You know what I mean? We not only came to do that. In the midst of all these things that we're doing, we also have the opportunity to evolve and wake up to who we are. We also have an opportunity to stop being a sheep and start being individual souls having a physical experience. Stop being a drifter and taking charge and live with intentions. All about that, right? So that's what awakening is all about. All about you living with intention. It's all about you living with intention, right? Understanding who you are, understanding that there is light and darkness here, understanding that you have a choice to actually go towards the dark or go to the light. The darkness is separation from love, right? From light. And it's not evil. We call it evil, but anyway, if it works for people, it works for people. The darkness is just separation from divine light, right? And remember, it's also created by source. The N, the Sophie, according to Kabbalah, EIN or S or F, the high energy on top of the Kabbalah, what you call cycle, the tree of life, in other words, right? So that divine consciousness has given space for itself to express itself in darkness or in light. So we are an expression of God, divine consciousness, expression of Sof or N, right? We are an expression of divine consciousness. We have a right to actually experience life in the dark or in the light. It's up to you. You make the choice, right? You make the choice. And remember that every choice has a karma attached to it. And karma is with every single decision you're making regards to that choice that you made, right? So it's all about that. Right? There is no right and wrong, only experience. Only religion speaks about right and wrong. It's only experience. Remember that when somebody hurts another person, that person is hurt as well. That person is really living in low frequency. That person is away from the lights. That's why they're hurting other people, because they're seeking love and light. They feel that if I hurt a certain person, I feel more powerful. People are gonna fear me. You understand? People are gonna fear me. People are going to now move away and don't challenge me when I want to do things. That's where violence comes into play, because violence is part of the darkness. It's away from the light. And then people use violence to control others, and they feel empowered when they are controlling people with violence and fear and gaslighting people, like narcissists and stuff like that, right? Psychopaths and stuff. Right? However, that's the extreme parts of this whole idea of people following the darkness. You get what I'm trying to say? It's extreme part because people are not born evil, right? People are not born evil. You're born pure light, and then what happens? Life happens. You get conditioned in your family group, in your community. You get conditioned in your tribe. You get conditioned of life. This is how you need to actually show up in life, right? But most people are choosing the light. If you look at it that way, a lot of people in the world, out of the 8 billion, majority are choosing the light. Some people are being feeling like that they have no choice. They're feeling helpless. They're feeling like victims. They're just drifting. Life is happening to them. Majority of the people in the world, life is happening to them because they don't believe that life is actually happening through them due to their choices. You understand? Yes, we don't have a choice where you were born. You don't have a choice of the family that you have, but you do have a choice on how you respond to your experience, to your environment. How are you going to respond? For many years as a child, you have no choice. After all, you follow the family. When you become a matured person and come of age, in certain countries it's 18, in other countries it's 21 years old, you then now able to consciously make your own decisions. Will you now follow that dogma of the religion of your family, or will you change and ask for something more and see if there is really something more and learn about all the philosophies, all the religions, all the cultural belief systems? Because remember that these religions were first an ideology, a philosophy, a cultural belief system, and then it gets now condensed and constricted to become a religion by the political leaders of of any land mass. Like in India, they have their religions. Buddhism is recognized there, Hinduism is recognized there, and other stuff, right? Officially, like how Christianity was only recognized in the 4th century as a religion. Before then, everybody in that space was doing paganism, and then there were the people, the Jewish, Yeshua followers that were believing in that. There were the Essenes. They were not mentioned in the Bible as well. There's a lot of different people practicing different things. So those things were people's belief systems, but not religions. Religions are now constructs of the political systems that we have in the game of life. The political systems, the democracy. Them, for example, if you go to the Arab countries, it's Islam. You go up north, the more north you go up in Africa, it was Islam. And then you also find Christianity as well there as well, like the northern African countries, like West and East Africa. You find Islam, you find also Christianity as well. Very few people are still are following or still practicing the pagan practices, the traditional practices. Very few people are still doing it. The percentage is as low as up to 2 to 5% of the populations in Africa. Most are Islam or the Christians. You understand? Then in Asia, you're finding like Buddhism, you're finding Islam, and you're also finding Hinduism there as well. Taoism as well, not that big, but quite small as well, 2 to 5 as well. I think even less, about 1% of the population in China still follow Taoism, or in Japan and China and stuff in the Eastern countries. So it's a nice, interesting soup of how we actually evolved as human beings in terms of our philosophies, our ideologies as well, how we've actually evolved. So you born into something and you think that, okay, I'm born into it, I must believe in it, right? I must die in it. You don't have to. You don't have to, because remember that everything is growing and expanding. If you allow yourself to grow and expand, especially if you have some sort of uncomfortability with your belief system or your culture, your ideology, you have the right to then learn something else. And if you have questions about what your family has taught you, what your family has been following, their belief system, right? Then you have the right to also question it and learn something new.